Terrible news has shaken McLaren's camp, despite their current dominance in Formula One. The storm has been brewing behind the scenes for a while now, but it reached a critical point following the Miami Grand Prix. McLaren, the team that has taken the grid by storm in 2025, is now under intense scrutiny, not just from their rivals, but from the governing body of motorsport itself, the FIA. And to make things even more dramatic, Max Verstappen and Red Bull are at the center of the controversy that threatens to change everything moving forward. At the heart of the growing tension is McLaren's astonishing control over tire temperature, which many believe is the true secret behind their incredible performance this season. Their car has proven unbeatable in both qualifying and race pace, and the numbers don't lie. Out of 6 races so far in 2025, McLaren drivers have won 5. That's not just dominance, it's a clear signal that something sets them apart. And what sets them apart, as many have pointed out, is their near-perfect tire temperature management. Red Bull, a team that once had a firm grip on the championship, is scrambling to understand how McLaren manages to warm up their tires so quickly and keep them in the optimal temperature window throughout a race. While other teams struggle to maintain consistent grip levels, especially in changing track conditions, the McLaren cars seem to operate like precision machines. No matter the surface temperature or circuit layout, McLaren keeps their tires in the sweet spot, lap after lap. This edge is crucial not only for qualifying performance but especially during the race, where consistency is key. The advantage was clear for everyone to see in Miami. Max Verstappen, often the benchmark for performance in F1, was still a tenth of a second behind the fastest McLaren in the first sector during qualifying. In the second and third sectors, McLaren drivers Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri extended their lead. Once the race began and the McLaren drivers took the lead, they were untouchable. Verstappen couldn't catch them, nor could any other team. The grip McLaren had from start to finish gave their drivers the confidence to push hard without worrying about tire degradation. Oscar Piastri's performance in races like Jeddah highlighted just how confident McLaren drivers are in their machinery. He clocked his fastest lap near the end of the race, a time when most drivers are struggling with worn tires. It was a clear message. McLaren had complete control from the very beginning, and it's that level of control that has left their rivals baffled and suspicious. Thermal imaging cameras have become the latest investigative tool in the paddock. During pit stops and after races, teams like Red Bull have been studying the brake cooling ducts and drum temperatures of the McLaren cars. Brake cooling systems directly affect tire temperature, and McLaren's system seems to work unlike any other. In thermal photos taken in Bahrain and Jeddah, McLaren's brake drums showed many blue areas, indicating cooler temperatures, while other teams' brake drums lit up in red and orange, which suggests significantly higher heat levels. This raised the first red flag for Red Bull. Red Bull engineers concluded it was impossible to achieve that level of cooling using just air. That's when old suspicions resurfaced, including the wild theory that McLaren might be using water to cool their tires, a practice that would be highly questionable under current regulations. McLaren boss Zak Brown didn't just deny the claim, he mocked it by labeling his drink bottle as tire water and placing it in full view during the Miami Grand Prix weekend. Despite the provocations, Red Bull hasn't stopped pressing the issue. According to insiders, Red Bull received thermal images from an external source that highlighted strange cold spots on McLaren's rear brake drums. These images were sent directly to the FIA, who had already been monitoring the situation closely. Following the Miami race, where McLaren secured a dominant 1-2 finish, FIA officials conducted an even more extensive inspection of McLaren's brake cooling system and rear brake drums. This inspection happened on Sunday night and was one of the most thorough yet. So far, there's no formal document or announcement about the outcome of that inspection, but what we do know is that no immediate concerns were reported to McLaren or made public that night. This suggests that once again the FIA has found McLaren's design to be legal, and if the FIA officially confirms this during the upcoming Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, it will mean McLaren's brake duct innovation has passed all inspections and is fully within the rules. But while McLaren breathes a sigh of relief, Red Bull and others are still fuming. The fact that McLaren has found a way to manage rear tire temperatures better than any other team, has triggered a wave of technical investigations and protests. Despite these efforts, nobody has been able to replicate McLaren's design or even understand it fully. Red Bull's frustration isn't just about not knowing the trick. It's also about how this advantage is playing out in races. The mystery revolves around how McLaren cools the outer surface of the rear brake drum. This part directly influences the wheel rim and the tire that sits on it. Keeping this area cool helps the tire maintain optimal grip without overheating, which is something other teams are struggling with. It's not just about performance, it's about consistency. And McLaren has achieved a level of consistency that no other car on the grid currently has. According to McLaren, the magic lies in their overall car design. They point to strong downforce, superior balance, and clever engineering. Team engineers have hinted at the use of smart materials and intelligent airflow that keeps the internal temperature of the brake ducts within a precise range. Whether it's an innovation in materials or aerodynamic routing, McLaren isn't saying. But one thing is certain: whatever it is, it's working. The speculation reached such a high point that even sister teams like Toro Rosso have joined Red Bull in urging the FIA to dig deeper. They want answers. But so far, the FIA has cleared McLaren multiple times. After each investigation, no rule breaking has been found. That leads many to believe that McLaren's advantage is simply the result of smarter, more focused engineering. Following their victory in Miami, McLaren's team principal Andrea Stella praised the engineering team for their hard work over the winter. According to Stella, the improvements in tire management were the result of very specific and targeted development. He said that if someone had asked him before the season started whether McLaren would see this much of an improvement, he wouldn't have believed it. The results have surpassed even their own expectations. Mercedes, another team puzzled by McLaren's performance, admitted they don't understand how McLaren has made such a leap. But team boss Toto Wolff took a different approach from Red Bull. He acknowledged McLaren's excellence and said it was simply a case of doing a better job. He defended McLaren's integrity and stated that if McLaren had found a smarter solution within the rules, then it should be applauded, not questioned. Wolff even warned against the mindset of assuming success must mean foul play. He said the right attitude is to work harder and catch up, not throw accusations at a team just because they're doing better. For him, the lesson is clear. Mercedes needs to improve and reduce the 30 to 35-second gap that currently exists over a full race distance. Even Christian Horner, Red Bull's team principal, has not officially accused McLaren of cheating. When asked if Red Bull had considered protesting McLaren in the same way they did George Russell's car, Horner responded that they weren't claiming McLaren's car was illegal. He said McLaren had clearly done a fantastic job, especially in managing tire temperatures over long stints. In fact, Horner seemed more focused on solving Red Bull's own problems, particularly their brake issues during the Miami GP, than continuing to escalate the tension with McLaren. So what does this all mean for the future? If the FIA confirms once again that McLaren is operating within the rules, other teams will have no choice but to go back to the drawing board. The spotlight will stay on McLaren's brake ducts and cooling systems, but without a protest or a rule breach, McLaren's advantage remains legitimate. And that's where the terrible news comes in for everyone else, especially Red Bull, because now they must face the fact that McLaren might just be better. The gap between McLaren and the rest of the grid is not just physical, it's strategic. The team invested in winter upgrades focused on one of the most challenging and least understood aspects of Formula One, tire management, and now they're reaping the rewards. Their innovation is not only legal but also effective. It's a wake-up call to all the other teams that success in Formula One isn't just about power or speed. It's about the little things, like keeping the tires in the right temperature range for as long as possible. With Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris delivering strong performances and a technical team that has nailed one of F1's most elusive challenges, McLaren has set a new standard. They've shown that innovation still has a place in modern F1, even under tight regulations, and unless another team can unlock the secret or develop their own answer to it, McLaren could continue this streak for the rest of the season. So while Red Bull continues to investigate and other teams keep sending complaints to the FIA, McLaren is staying focused. They aren't worried about rumors, and they aren't distracted by outside noise. The results speak for themselves. 5 wins out of 6 races. A dominant 1-2 finish in Miami.
Just about racing anymore. It's about how he'll be remembered. And right now, the idea of reviving Mercedes and beating Red Bull from the outside might be too tempting to ignore. Which brings us to Miami. This race could be the turning point. Verstappen is already frustrated. The car hasn't delivered. Red Bull's dominance is slipping. Ferrari and McLaren are catching up. And if the RB20 fails again this weekend, especially on a track as brutal and revealing as Miami, the pressure might reach a breaking point. If Max fumbles on the radio again, if the team misses on strategy again, the decision might already be made in his mind. Meanwhile, Toto Wolff will be watching closely. He knows this race could shift the balance. He doesn't need to make a move yet. But he'll be ready. He'll be ready with the plan, the contract, and the vision. And Antonelli? He'll be watching, too. Because for him, this isn't just another race weekend. It's a battle for survival. Imagine being 17, knowing that you're